Hello.
Hello again, it's Sandra.
And Hendrik.
And we're again here answering the second part of the questions that we have received about our 2 startups, our 3 kids, our family, and trying to figure out how we have managed it so far, how to do it better, how to balance things out, and
answer all those interesting questions what we have received from you. So thank you for that.
Yes, thanks a lot. And let's go. A question from Etienne. What are the advantages of founding and scaling company in Europe compared to other markets? And let's just compare, because there are advantages and disadvantages, but those are very different environments where you can...
So let's compare US and
Europe,
because we just don't know much about other markets.
Yeah, we have heard of some other founders who are trying to scale to Asia or Africa. For me personally, those markets are just totally different planets, so it's very hard to... Yeah, we don't know. Europe and United States are easier to compare. US is like one big market, right? So you don't have...
It's kind of one big market. It's not
in terms of language, currency, and other factors. It's much easier. But if you're doing or building a startup like mine, which is focusing on cross-border commerce, removing language barriers in customer service, then this probably explains why I'm focused on European market. However, for your business, US is a place where you have been working and living, and probably will return back and go back and forth.
So if I now compare my business, how it is what is same and what is different compared with Europe and States, products are same. So iPhone is the same iPhone in a bicycle or steel robot is the same what is in US or what is in Europe. Country doesn't matter in that sense. So I would say that for me, that main value proposition part is not dependent on the country. Since I'm working with the lenders and or creditors in all the markets, so I would say that risks are different market by market. Legal system are different, very different functionally as the US operates compared with European law. I personally like US legal system even a little bit more. But in the big picture, I would say for my business perspective, both are developed economic areas where you have predictable consumer behavior, some more or less understanding about sustainability and circular economy too, which is kind of growing. So I'm seeing this both as I'm starting from Europe because I prefer nowadays living in Estonia compared with living in Valley, for example.
I'm just excited about the fact that we'll have opportunity to scale our products to so many countries nowadays, especially when building tech startup. So it's something that is so cool. You're from a small country, Estonia, and you can provide your products wherever on this planet. But let's move on to Tavi's question. If all your contacts, resources, and identity were taken away, how would you start over from zero?
I would start over the same way I started first time in Tallinn, because I came to Tallinn from Hiiumaa. I knew nobody here. I wasn't able to find my way around because I didn't know anything on the town. And back in the days when I came, I also didn't have like a navigator in my phone, which you could basically use nowadays. So how did I found my first job, for example? I was just walking around, saw a store. On the store there was a billboard. On the billboard was written that they're seeking a person and like hiring somebody.
And to all Estonians, it was Westmani äri, Westman's shop, 24/7 grocery store.
Yes, and I saw it, and then I was went to the store and started asking about the manager. Manager wasn't there, so I asked when she will come. Then they asked, why do you ask? And I thought, like, no, I want to know when she's coming, and she's coming in 2 hours. Okay, very good. I was walking around for 2 hours, then coming back. Then she was coming, was like there. I was able to talk. So I went in, started to talk about the hiring, etc. Guess what? I was hired. And I didn't had any background. I didn't know anybody, identity, etc. So basically, I got started from the scratch. And I think this is a little bit like this solution orientedness is like, hey, I'm at this moment with all my background, whatever it is, or my situation, my cash in the bank, how little or a lot it is. So meaning like, how do I now take like the next step? Like, what do I do?
I reminded the time in States when you were busy. I was every evening hanging with our daughter at some local playgrounds around Silicon Valley, a lot of lovely parks and places. And you see a lot of different people who all came to Silicon Valley and who all are experts in some industry. And talking to those parents, like all the multinational people, like you can see like from 10 different countries. If there are 10 parents, most probably all 10 are from different places. And they're all very open. As you know, in the States, it's very normal that you go to a stranger and start talking. And I was just like asking, hey guys, what are you doing here? What do you do business-wise? And I realized that almost every parent out there around the playground has involved in some startups, has done some exits. This guy sold for his shares for $20 million, this one for $100 million, and doing the next startup. And that was I felt literally probably like a refugee from Mexico. A lot of them are in California as well. The next question is on the same topic that we have just discussed, but a bit different angle. Has your interest or internal drive in the topic or in your startup decreased, so you feel that you're outgrowing and would choose doing something else? And I think you have mentioned that when you did the local company, you felt that you are outgrowing.
You mean the Uniper discs?
First of all, yeah, Uniper discs. But you could. We were joking at home that you can always go back to your home island and do Uniper discs, and probably you would like make earnings enough to like
have a food on the table.
Yeah. And we would manage anyway, but at this point where we are with our startups, probably we already have the scalable business models and there's only like the execution part. So how to actually find those opportunities?
But the question was can you remind me the question?
Would you prefer doing something else when you outgrow and your internal drive in this topic decreases?
And if we know, I can answer to this question basically about the past. like what has been, when you think about my company name, the company name is Fair Own, and it name comes, I have told this many way, like why it's this name, but for me the biggest thing which is outburns me is when I feel that it's not fair. And I remember that, for example, I was hired to the company, to leasing company, Finnish company. That was my kind of like first job in this profession, like product related financial services. And I really like to perform. So meaning like I really wanted to give maximum towards what I was hired to do, and I did my best, and I kind of performed better than expected, etc. Better I myself expected, and because I kind of like was putting all in, and then I felt that I wasn't appreciated by my boss, and by like basically you end up in the position where you kind of like, I don't feel this being fair for me. I don't want, like, I'm a rebel, like I'm not able to be in this position.
I think that this is something many people have felt. Either you're like okay with that feeling and you like stick to that position and continue the work, or you actually take action.
Yeah, and then because I kind of like wanted to do my own company, but I wasn't confident enough to do it alone. I think I should have been doing it alone, but I did it pretty much finding a guy like, okay, let's do it with you. You are kind of like can articulate and do the sales, and I can do the sales, and let's do it. And then like you fast forward like 7-8 years, and you understand that you kind of perform, and you have lost your co-founder because it's like doesn't work, because like it's not fair anymore. Like it's fair when you put some effort in, like somehow equal basis, but people are not equal. People are not capable of putting effort in equally. It's just not possible. And then
they can put equally the amount of hours that we have,
exactly.
But the outcome that creates the value for the company is probably different.
Yeah, it is different, and it's also like different kind of things. So I would say that what is like driving me is that I can, like, what I would recommend also, like not working together 50-50 partnership with the people who are exactly like you in terms of the skill set. So basically you have like 2 business co-founders starting a business together, for example, as we did in Y Combinator. So it's much better if you have like 1 business co-founder, 1 technical co-founder who actually like complement each other, because they don't have the same skill sets, they have different skill sets, and then they can give in not 50-50, but basically they can combine 110 and 110. You get basically more out of this relationship.
Yeah. Next question from Janek. What's the craziest thing you have ever done to save money for your startup? Again, one of the conferences where I was trying to give some valuable insights how to survive in the startup world. And startup founders regularly are poor for many, many years. So there's it might happen. Maybe you can pay yourself a decent salary, But definitely you have to be ready for the time that you're not, your startup is not paying you. You can't pay yourself, right? And you're the last one who gets the salary if you have the team. So from our perspective, we both have done things before we ended up in the startup world. So meaning that you're having your home, your some investments, little portfolio or some passive income, or you're having something behind your back. I think this is when you can truly dive in and take risks and manage through.
Or you are 18 and then you have all the life in front of you and you can, in the worst case, go to mom and dad's sofa and that's fine.
That's fine too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine too. And there's one question from Gerlin. She was asking, in our experience, what's the best age to start building startup? And probably this is the answer. So if you are, if you have just married, you have kids, and you're trying to like settle and manage your life, then and you don't have any passive income, or you don't have, or you have obligations and responsibilities and mortgage and so on. I know some theories say that it's pushing you like to move faster or to take like more, perhaps like wiser decisions. But in our case, like things take so much more time than we expect. And I would say rather, if you're too young or you already like have the confidence that you can manage, that your life standards perhaps will be much lower. What do you think?
I would say that there needs to be a passion. Like if you have a passion, if you kind of like want to do it. I've met many people in the life who have told me about their startup. And I've met many executives who have told me like I'm doing a startup on a side or something like that. And when I hear it, there is something which like we were in the dinner table some time ago, and then we talked about startup investments. So I was sitting next to one, I would call it investor. And then we discussed about like, hey, like you look the business plan and does the business plan make sense? And then if you invest into this business plan, then you basically kind of like, and I think this is like a fallacy where you think that the business plan tells you something, or even your startup pitch or idea tells you something. I would say that the reality, what tells you something, is the performance, like how quickly you are moving towards your idea, like how quickly you are able to, like I got the idea today, like how quickly I transform it to the reality. Some ideas are hard, some are like easy.
You take the hard one and you simplify and you make it still happen.
Yeah, and you make first MVP and then you take the second one and etc. But I would say that you need this mindset to actually be entrepreneur, and maybe the timing is not so important because you can have your full-time job and which pays the bills, and then you can have even the kids and everything around you. And if you put this very, very productive 1 hour or whatever it is on your day towards this crazy idea, and you actually like ask the hard questions, charge the customers who will see value in this, whatever it is you are doing. And when you asked about saving money, I've never done it that way. I'm always like charged more. So I that's my answer. Like if I'm lacking money, that means basically I'm asking.
Or go out and do more sales. or charge
ask
more
money,
the same.
Basically, ask more money. Either from the same customers or new customers, or basically remind them that your value is you are not getting enough compensated for the value what you bring.
So let's say the right answer would be that if you can't have a good sleep without thinking about something that you have to go and make happen, then it's the right time.
Yeah. And I would say that if you can leave without doing the startup, don't do it. No need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then let's go to the next question. How do you manage the demands of running a startup while ensuring quality time with your family? Have we answered that already in some sense?
I would say that if you formulate this question, enduring, like how do you endure? Enduring means for me basically how you make sure that this is happening. And I think we answered how we are doing it, but how do we ensure it? I would say that it is kind of this kind of being present and understanding and realizing yourself what are the actual priorities. And if you can have this clear mind or keep this clear mind, then everything kind of then you remember what to do and how to do it. Because I would say most dangerous things in this life is an anxiety, because you become emotionally obsessed, like you become in some sense it can go up to a disease. So basically you get into this kind of mode where you become too worried about something which doesn't matter what it is, but basically you become too worried about it.
We have a lot of jokes about this, being worried when my grandmother has to go somewhere. She starts worrying 3 days before. She has to take a bus or a train somewhere. How do I get there? If I'm late, what happens? And the same goes to our work life. So you're having some presentation or you're having some customer meeting or product launch. Then why are you worried? just be rational. What are the tasks that needs to be filled?
I've been joking with Sandra is don't forget to start worry.
Yeah, when I'm saying, we're having some release next week. Shall I start worrying? One question from Mary. What leadership qualities do you admire the most about your partner, and what areas do you think they could improve?
On your partner, so meaning each of us. I think that Sandra has this very warm heart and very this kind of attention on complimenting or making person feel good. So meaning she can bring you a present, she can bring you a cake, for example, on the totally random without any logic, which you would understand. So I think that this kind of very high empathy level is something which is a very, very strong Sandra's skill. And I think this is something where I can improve myself, becoming more emphatic.
And what's the area that I could improve or should improve?
I would say that maybe this kind of more data and more analytical. So meaning it's basically how do you drive drive out the decisions from numbers. So basically, how do you not only the big story, but how do you put the numbers in between? Would it be revenues or rounds or whatever? So basically, like, this is something which is good skill, and it doesn't come naturally to you by the nature, I would say, what I know about you.
Let's see how the next decade evolves, and what would be admiration and points of improvement over the years. But reflecting back to you, I think that I admire the most, from my personal perspective, that I would go with you as a person anywhere, and I would do with you anything. So it's like, I think many people are following you for the same reason, that you're a strong leader. Yes, you can say that that you have so many areas where nobody should take like nobody should be following you for some like specific area, but overall, I think this is the feeling where this person has a fair and clear mission, and he's going through hell, he's going through heaven, he's going through anything, and I'm proud to be next to you in both, like business-wise, personal life, whatever, mention it. So this is what I admire. And areas to be improved, there are always so many areas. And if you remember, one of the like self-confidence related areas when we moved to the US, and from being here in Estonia and doing local business, we were suddenly like on the other planet, and you started feeling that your English is not at that level that could like help you or support your actions and your goals on a global level. And so you started taking English lessons because I was like, do something. If it's a problem, let's solve it. And at some point you came to me, I think it was a year, or I don't know how much time it took you. You came back and said, forget about this problem. Like, if I speak, if you speak cash, if you speak like real value, if you build it and if you create it, nobody cares about your pronunciation. And at that point, like I didn't have arguments. Okay, let's go back to our business and let's make things happen. But yeah, still, like there are a lot of areas for improvement, and I adore how people are selling their products and themselves in US, what we have seen and what we continue following. I'm super inspired, like by this. It's not talent, but it's like we have to learn it. We're very bad at selling at like sales here in Europe. Everybody like should be learning how to sell ourselves, our products better. Yeah. So there was one funny question. I really like it, from Peter. How much should a man earn? And it came from as a comment to another question, that if you're so smart, why are you so poor? And this was a question from me to Hendrik. And let's answer the Peter's question first. So how much a man should earn?
I would like, when I define this question a little bit further, so basically we are talking about income, so basically money what you get into the bank and how much it should be. And should in the question is like why it should be, whatever the number or what it would be. So I would always strive towards the peace of mind. So in the perfect world, what I would like to like, and you have kind of two things in this number. You have consumption, so meaning like how do you consume, basically, because those decisions are influencing how much money you should get to the bank, because it depends like how much do you spend. I personally don't enjoy thinking about money. I'm thinking about the money different ways. Like I'm not thinking about it that way, that how I would like to have I don't know, salary increase, but I have so stupid boss. So no, I don't want to think about that way. So I think the man should earn that much that he don't need to think about money. And by being realistic on the consumption at the same time. Because, and this is personal transformation.
What if the woman is not that realistic about the consumption?
I think that that's actually a very good question, because I would say that I myself also have been like consuming differently. In the past, I wanted to have a fast car. In the past, I wanted to have a sailing boat. In the past, I wanted to have all those things. And I had a sailing boat, I had a fast car, and I understood that the sailing boat takes a lot of cleaning, fast car goes to the expensive maintenance. I did all the things, and then I understood that I kind of enjoy the freedom more and peace of mind. In that sense, that the less I consume, the more freedom and peace of mind I kind of have.
Hendrik, let's be honest now. When you have 2 startups and 3 kids, you don't have any minutes of your time or
To consume.
energy left to think that I want to, or I need to drop a car to the service. No thanks.
Yeah, so I would say that it's a choices of life. So I would say that having a peace of mind, but also like I really feel that my minutes and hours in the days are going into very, very good direction. So investments into family, so basically quality time together, building the dream, like doing what I love. So meaning all those things, like I can't tell the number, because like otherwise I couldn't tell better like how much you spend. So you probably should earn more than you spend, and put something on the side too, as investments, etc. But that's not my kind of like, I would leave this kind of like stories to the financial influencers. So not my cup of tea to teach people to spend and consume. But why? Now the question is, why, if I'm so smart, why I'm so poor? So that was, and this question goes to Peter, because that's actually like Sandra asked it, but our joint friend Peter asked it from me one good evening, and that's probably the hardest question of them all. Why do I would reformulate this question is, why do I have less than I deserve in my eyes of my wife?
It's a good definition.
And I would say that
she thinks you deserve.
Exactly. She thinks I deserve. And I would take it some sense as a compliment, because then my wife believes that I deserve more. On the other hand, the richness in many things, of course, like it's like the Maslow. So meaning like if you have little bit of money that you can pay for your food, and you understand that you have little bit safety around you, that you are not worried, and you have love in your life, and big family. So meaning like a combination of that, I would say I'm actually very rich.
You have 3 girls.
4.
Four girls at home.
Counting wife too.
So in this sense, you're a rich guy. When I look at my family model, where I came from, and what I've learned from my parents and what I would like to teach to our kids as well, is to marry a simple guy, grow together, and never choose money. So, like, if you have some dreams, those should be your dreams together. And if you're having the path towards them, that you're like taking the journey together, I think this is what I have chosen. And I still see a lot of potential, despite the fact that I've asked such question from my husband, if he's so smart, why he's so poor. So I believe in potential, and I believe in those qualities, characteristics, values that every person has. So this is why we're together and supporting each other, because your dreams are beautiful. You're a beautiful person, and I just want you to succeed. I think like fair to add here a funny quote that I heard yesterday, that about the cemeteries. If you look at the cemetery, there's tons of buried potential there, and you don't want to be wasted potential. And probably it explains why there are 3 kids and 2 startups and why we're here. So learning and developing, growing together, just like, if you have the potential, why to bury it?
And what is interesting is that you kind of constantly learn how much better you can become. Like in that sense, it's I would say that I'm not like would describe it that way, that you kind of see that, hey, how haven't I thought about that yesterday? Like how I was worried about this stupid small thing like yesterday, because today I know so much better.
Sometimes you realize it not a day or a week later, but a year later, and it hurts because there's so much time that you have been living with this pain or without the solution, with your emotions. And if you at least a year later reach that point, then it's already a great progress.
I would say that if we define progress, I would say it's like solution orientedness. So meaning like when you actually open that, hey, I want to, like, this relationship is very important to me. So how important? So basically it's that important. And when you wake up in the morning, or when I wake up in the morning and I have this my few hours of like very important things, that needs to be there. And this relationships needs to get the investments into, and I'm not saying that I'm doing it, always following it through that way, on that level, what I believe I should. I definitely have.
You get alarm instantly when you don't.
But I have potential, I can do better for sure. But
Laurie asked, what, if anything, is too serious to joke about?
I would answer this question like, in some sense, joking, even the dark humor and things, like I have mixed feelings about it, because I think that when you talk about something, you are attracting it. Like, for example, I wouldn't joke about death, for example, that much, or I wouldn't joke about like, hey, I will just like stop doing what I'm doing tomorrow. I don't know. Those kind of things for me is like too serious topics. I wouldn't joke about divorce, for example, or those kind of things.
You better not.
So I would say that I'm not joking about them means basically like I have more time and energy towards the positive things and the love and life and things instead of thinking about darkness.
Yeah, I agree.
There is plenty of darkness in life anyway, without us joking about it.
It depends how you look at the things and what you see. Sometimes I'm surprised myself that how my mind can also make difference. And yesterday, you find yourself living in a beautiful world, and you feel safe. And the next day, it can feel you just totally different place, just because of some events or something happening, or what you see, and your perception can change very fast. So yeah, there still are some topics we're serious about, but mostly we're trying to not take ourselves and everything that happens too seriously, and just every day live our life in a ways that we shouldn't feel ashamed of our actions and words. Gunnar is asking, which one of you is more famous? If you take the number of followers on LinkedIn, then it's Hendrik. But the gap is very small.
Yeah, I think this is hardly quantifiable question, but I think it's actually important when we talk about famous. What famous means for me is like attention worthy to some person or people. So basically, how many people are actually like noticing you. And when you are founder and trying to make an impact, would it be in internet in terms of like the customer service, or would it be in the circular economy? Then on both cases, it is very helpful when you become more famous. So basically more people hear about you and hear about your mission and vision and plan, and maybe they want to work with you, maybe they want to use your service, maybe they want to be hired or help somehow, they want to invest, like whatever it might be. So meaning like becoming more famous is something what founder actually, at least in those sectors, like which like is about like shifting people's mind or changing the course of the world. So it helps, and we should thrive for it.
Yeah, especially when we're talking about changing some habits, the way people consume, interact. Exactly, communicate. And in this sense, I don't feel that my posts, messages, articles, podcasts are about me, but about this industry, about this value, about the opportunities, modern consumers, or the changing habits. So probably it's also helpful to think not that it's about you, and then you can come here, switch on the microphone, switch on the camera, and make some podcasts, because otherwise it looks scary. So, but if you're thinking about what's the reason behind you are sitting here and telling, and you're having the real mission, or you're having the real the honest and the fair content, then I think those people should go and share it.
And I would say that small price to pay for it is in some sense putting this personal privacy aside, because people kind of tend to be like, hey, it's me, I'm not perfect, there are things which I maybe don't feel comfortable about myself, and etc. So this kind of like confidence is not there. So I don't want other people looking at me, thinking about me, and etc. But I would say that having this mission kind of forces us to take this, or put this all aside, and say that, hey, I'm here, I am what I am. We are doing what we are doing, and we need to talk about it because it's important. Like we put some this personal stuff.
Yeah. Martin is asking if there are any role models in your life who helped you through the tough parts of the journeys, besides supporting each other. I think that's the primary is actually the support and who you live with, your like closest circle. It comes always first for me, because we know those people the best. All other role models, I know that Hendrik perhaps like has more role models in terms of some people who he worked with. So for me, it's really hard to answer this question, but we're following together, and often like when the bedtime stories are told for our kids, we go to our bed and we listen to YC podcasts, we listen to Jordan Peterson, and that's how it goes. So there are people who are delivering some very important messages for us and that help us through some tough situations and challenges. But most importantly, it's still the support of each other.
When you talk about the role models, I can't help remembering Minion movies where you have like minions following the biggest and evil, most evil what they can find, because that's how minions are built. But for me, role models, I would say it has changed over time, and I have been like seeking certain like things. Like for example, I was when I was doing this kind of like traditional business, then I was kind of looking up for the smart people. Like for example, like we have quite many friends who are very smart, like I don't know, CEOs of banks and etc. Like looking the smart people, and they are like really, really analytical, and they can do really smart decisions and etc. After being in the States, I started to look up for the bold people more than the smart people, or basically combination of boldness and smartness. And
how do you define bold?
I define bold that it's basically like taking heavy, like doing bets, but doing bets in the smart way. Because I would say that I've seen also in the life people who are like doing very bold decisions which are not like good decisions. And I've seen very smart people who have not are not doing decision, or they doing very, let's say, smart decisions. But I would say that the combination of bold and smart with the right attitude, so meaning that you really prioritize like speed of execution, like asking really hard questions and how do I validate and etc. And being, let's say, this not like very smart, but you basically like a street smart type of thing.
Common sense.
Common sense, yeah. I would say that I've learned to like, and I would say that Y Combinator represents it a lot. And I think that when we talk about YC, best advice to founders, or not best, but only advice what is there, is don't die. So meaning it's basically, what does it mean? It means that don't give up. Because like cemeteries are full of unused potential. So meaning like if you give up, nobody misses you. In that sense, it's like life goes on, and it's like that's how it is.
Also, for a founder, it seems so dramatic. If you like, what all the other people will be thinking.
I would say that big mission would be not done then, and that's not something I can live with. So
to the same topic, Robert and Yuri were asking also about learnings from Y Combinator, but most importantly, how that experience impacts your life.
Shift in priorities, and basically in that sense that what is worth working on and what is not worth my time. Basically, like I kind of understood that many things what I worked on the past, they actually not big enough. And then I understood that I actually want to work only on the big stuff, and I don't want to work on the small stuff. Like I would say, I want some big stuff might look very small, like it might be like something visual or something on the customer journey, some important detail or whatever. But this is like the big strategic important stuff which is there for something meaningful. And I understood that I'm like, I want to do it and I don't want to do anything else, and got excited about it. And like it was like the way to think about it changed.
I think it's fair to just recommend it's open and available for everyone to find any topic that is relevant for you right now, for your startup or career, or even if you're just working in some established company, to check out YC content on YouTube, like 10 to 30 minutes long videos on every topic that you might need, and this content is just really like we're listening to it and just nodding, yeah. And next day you go to office and you try to implement those recommendations.
Yeah, and to be very specific, like what I kind of what is worth working on is like I personally like good business models, so I think I want to have like a good business model with the good unit economics, with a scalable and value adding like output.
Let's also define a good business model. For me, it's essential to have low churn rate. So meaning that you're not fundraising and like buying new customers while like all the rest who you have like acquired before have gone, but good churn rate for software businesses, like 5% per year. Like this is a strong definition, or this is a strong argument that this business model works. Customer acquisition cost to lifetime value ratio. I would say I was aiming high to get 1 to 8 in Askly, but right now I think 1 to 10 is even possible. So you always like have ideas how to create more value for existing customers. But I guess your business model is different. So from your side, what's the strong business model?
I like your business model same way. So meaning it's like software as a service model. I would like, when we talk about the business models, I would say that I'm more like thinking about it from the like general conception basis. So meaning like in the software as a service, what you have is you have like one platform which you build and develop, and basically the more people or companies paying for it, the more revenue you have. So meaning your costs are going down towards your like sales, and this is kind of like good definition of a good business model.
Yeah, we have a few more questions left. Etienne is asking, what are the advantages of founding and scaling a company in Europe compared to other markets?
Advantages or disadvantages?
Let's just compare. What's the biggest difference?
US is one, I would say, much more similar to the one big market than Europe, when you have currencies, languages, and all that. So meaning if you can use it as a strength, for example, in Askly, where you have like multi-language chat, which would be not so relevant in
the States.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So meaning depends on your product. But if you have like our product, for example, if you put it on the market in States, then you can like penetrate to the market or basically you have much larger market to penetrate compared with launching the same product in Estonia, for example.
Let's move on. We're having a couple of last questions. Mul lihtsalt see navigeerimine natukene läheb. There's a comment/question from Katrin, and we both owe her our relationship. She's the one who introduced us. We were studying together and she was working with Hendrik, or you were just friends and did something work-wise. So she's saying that you two are always so kind, lovable, caring, active in so many fields, and you seem genuinely happy. And you have kept that spark between you two. What is the secret beyond that spark? And some more beautiful words and compliments from Katrin, and we love Katrin back to the moon and back. So what kept that spark, and what is that spark? Maybe to start with a small definition.
I would say that it little bit comes back to the like what do you want in your life. So when I was able to understand myself that I want Sandra in my life, then I understood also that it takes investment in time, in energy, in thinking, because the spark itself, I would say, is like if we talk about spark, the spark might sound something which is not dependent on you, but I would argue that it depends, and it depends on the purposeful actions what I as a husband and also in other roles I'm taking, and I'm that kind of person. I don't like to change my plans, so I kind of made the plan and understood that I need to do something about it every day. Mm-hmm. And that's like a good frequency daily to do something towards like having this spark stronger, tomorrow more stronger than it was today. So basically the love is a function which needs to strengthen over time. And it takes basically your, like, how do I do it? Like, what can I do today? What kind of omelette I would take today morning, for example.
It was a good one. So, not always.
So to recall that, I make sure that even if it doesn't come natural to me at all, but basically I will put the dishes away. I will put the dishes away and I will clean up where I can clean up, and I try to like let little bit longer sleep if to Sandra when it's possible, etc. So meaning like those small things I think is important for me to keeping my spark, because that gives me the feeling that I'm doing it for her. I'm not doing it for myself. and that kind of forges this feeling, the spark.
Do you remember in the early days we went to a spa weekend and we read the book Five Love Languages,
Yes.
Gary Chapman, I think, and we discussed it and we understood that those are different languages of love that we speak. So I really appreciate that our house is clean. I don't like messed up things. For like you personally, really, it doesn't matter for you, but for me it does, and I love surprises. So I remember I was making surprises for you and you were like, okay, nice, but like I put a lot of energy into that, and I don't see that I don't get that many compliments back, and it helped a lot to think like what I should be doing for you and you should be doing for me. And I think as we're both doing those things for so many years, this feeling of like not just love, but also respect and appreciation, I'm truly thankful to have a person who is doing something for me, which is important for me. And so with great pleasure, I'm doing those things back to you, although they're not in my nature. So yes, I would like to sleep longer in the morning compared to you. Of course, you want to sleep as well, but you're emotionally more mature during the day to handle a shorter sleep, and especially when you're having like little kids. So I probably couldn't be together with a man who is like acting as me, and we have like conflict encoded, both need to do like the same, or both have the same needs. So yeah.
Maybe it's not even like thinking about each other's needs is the important, not even like what the needs actually are, but basically that thinking about them and trying to satisfy them and trying to like do it purposely.
Before we met, I remember I did an exercise as well to understand myself better. Like what kind of man should he be? The one. How to recognize when he comes. And although I had this, like, I had it written, the description is pretty similar. Still, like when you meet a person, you start like doing this checklist, and it's the same for startup world. If you're like meeting a potential co-founder or investors, there's always a checklist, right? So you need to get those like things marked down, and first of all, to get clarity, you need to have the checklist itself. So probably checklist is the one to start from. Or if you're like going into relationship with anyone, then what is it that you are looking for? What are your expectations? And then it's easier to recognize. And the last question is, what are the top 3 things on your bucket list? And the one is the craziest one is for many years, as we have a lot of friends who are with Southwestern background, and I used to work with them together, but we never ever, we have been recruited when we were young to go door to door and do this book selling summer. And it seems something hard and scary enough. And probably this is what we are just like sometimes think that once kids are a bit older, or startups are in a phase where we can allow ourselves and go together and do this summer in States and talk to people and sell books door to door.
Maybe not full summer, but
I'm not sure if they. Okay, you can.
Some period of time.
You're a quitter then.
But get the experience of like this hardest possible sales job what is out there. I kind of believe this being like good school.
And why? Why is it something that we have been thinking about?
It's seeking more challenges, I would say.
So startups and 3 kids are not enough, right? Is this what you're trying to say?
Maybe it's like different kind of challenge. It's basically, that's why you kind of like something that you think that you would like to do one day. So I'm enjoying more like doing things which are hard than doing things what are easy. So in that sense, like doing something hard, like going knocking on the doors of people and proposing them to buy a book from you is definitely something which would, I can imagine, give me an experience of like how it feels.
It's something to tell your grandchildren one day, because most of the people who have been doing it for years, I adore their character and how they can stand tall in very hard situations. So it's just probably for the like your stamina to not be afraid of some, like, you're getting answers, no's in startup life a lot from customers, from investors, and it still sometimes hurts because you put a lot of effort into that. And probably, I guess that might be the reason why we have been at all discussing like what could help. Go and train.
Back to bucket list. I would say that this is like bucket list things for me are there what are helping to build character. So meaning I thought this will help me build character and it's fun to in some sense.
I guess Merike, who asked about it, was hoping to hear some exciting destinations or places. We have one. We one day really want to go to Burning Man. Didn't have a chance yet, but perhaps in the nearest future or in some years ahead.
Yes.
There are definitely more places to travel or see around, but like work-wise, we have been traveling a lot.
One day to sailing again, I would say, is going into bucket list too, because we needed to have a 3. So we have like a book sales, Burning Man, and I can add the sailing from my part. I don't know if you...
You know that I prefer speedboats, but I can do sailing as well. Then I pick the destination.
That's good.
Thanks a lot, Hendrik. It was a great talk. And I hope it was valuable for the listeners as well.
Thank you.